The Song Out of Space, developed by Pixel Noire Games and published by Ratalaika Games, is a point-and-click narrative adventure with a focus on multiple replays to unravel all the plot permutations. With 2 potential characters to play as, an intriguing story, and only about 30 minutes required for a single playthrough, it makes for a compelling enough package. However, the Song Out of Space could do with some quality of life features, and the visual style is interesting. Set in 1971, at the height of the Cold War, you can play as FBI agent Catherine Armstrong, a young woman with excellent scientific skills in a man's world, or Agent Stuart Ross, a street-smart veteran who goes with his gut more often than his brain. 12 astronomers at a deep space observatory in rural Washington state have been found dead, and, given its proximity to a nearby military Air Force base, top brass want them to investigate for potential Russian involvement. Armstrong and Ross soon find themselves in the small town of Garden, presented with one seemingly obvious suspect, belligerent local law enforcement, a selection of potential leads to follow, and not enough time to tackle them all. Despite several possibilities, events get stranger still, and, sticking with its Lovecraftian inspirations, The Song Out of Space offers no conclusive ending. Several observations and inner thoughts are written in the past tense, framing the action as a retelling of events from some uncertain future. It's a smart enough choice that keeps several events and interactions consistent, while your choice of character, investigation paths, and dialogue responses still allow for decent variety in each replay. It's worth noting a quick look at an earlier trailer suggests The Song Out of Space only covers the first part of a larger story. The actual gameplay experience is point-and-click simplicity. Playing on a console, the left thumbstick moves a cursor, and you click on icons that indicate traversal, casual observations, a detailed investigation, or a dialogue trigger. The dialogue simply involves picking from questions, or making accusations, from a list of options, though you're typically limited to just a few choices before the suspects refuse to cooperate further. You'll find yourself moving systematically from scene to scene, along a branching and then converging path, all towards the finale. Given there's no pixel hunting for clues, or inventory to manage, The Song Out of Space can feel more like a visual novel at times, but it offers more agency and variability. Unfortunately, for a game that requires plenty of reading, the English translation, and presumably any non-Spanish version, might need a review and an update to deal with several spelling mistakes. Now, the potential narrative differences are obvious from the moment you select your character. Catherine Armstrong provides more detailed observations, and in turn more potential accusations, but in an overly misogynistic world, she struggles to draw information from male characters, especially when she challenges their assumptions about her ability. Stuart Ross, on the other hand, has very few issues in dialogue, but cannot interpret some clues. The Song Out of Space works around this at points by pairing them up in several key locations, but they have to separate to pursue other leads, and during these sequences your options are limited based on each character's abilities and personality. Of course, repeated playthroughs are going to give you some insight based on your prior runs, but it's a nice touch. Unfortunately, like so many choice-driven narrative adventures, unlocking all the story permutations is made harder thanks to the lack of any sort of visual timeline feature, or even just the simple ability to restart from a specific scene. The best advice I can give you is to make multiple saves, and check the achievements or trophy list to get an idea of what you're missing. Now, talking of achievements and trophies, The Song Out of Space is in line with most Ratalaika games, and it doesn't take long to rack up the dozen or so on offer, if that's your thing. By far the biggest potential issue with The Song Out of Space is the presentation, even taking into account the budget pricing. On the audio front, there's no voice acting, but the ambience and synth music still do a great job of creating an unsettling atmosphere. However, when it comes to the visuals, I guess you could argue they're unique. It's a combination of down-raised photographs for backdrops, paired with stiffly animated, chunky pixel art characters. It looks and feels cheap, but it's effective, and honestly it never detracted me from the narrative. Your mileage may vary, though. Wrapping up, if you can look past the rough presentation, and forgive the lack of any timeline or scene restart feature, The Song Out of Space offers a compelling enough experience that feels smartly developed on a tight budget. It's the type of game you'll play through twice in your first sitting, then start mulling over narrative diversion points, and start planning a replay or two. If you're looking for a bite-sized, point-and-click style narrative adventure, I can think of far worse ways to spend $5.